UFC Vegas 88 main card had 3 first-round subs, 2 split decisions, wasn't no contest. Before we get into all those details, Alex, why don't you let...
We've got a finish. Natan Levy versus Mike Beast Boy Davis. From the jump, UFC fight and his win streak to 4.
Davis might be Palestine's favorite fighter now.
At this point, I think you're right.
So that was the prelims. Let's jump to the main card and the main event, and it was a interesting fight. It was a exciting finish. Marcin Tybura with the first round sub over Tai Tuivasa. As you said earlier in the intro, Tuivasa's 4th straight loss.
Yeah, unfortunate.
He's a fan favorite, so I don't think he's in danger of getting cut by the UFC or anything right now.
No,
but
it's just unfortunate.
4 straight losses, that's hard for anybody to overcome. Tybura, though, this was kind of a fight where neither one of these guys, I would say, Tybura's not in the title picture yet, but it's one that, like, yeah, he's still hovering around the top of the division. The loser of this coming in, they were not going to...
No,
their time in the top, like, 5-6 guys in the heavyweight or even having a chance at that is over.
It's very, very contentious.
And I think it's over for Tai Tuivasa in terms of that. He still has exciting fights left he could fight, but
yeah, I mean, if he went on a crazy win streak, he could get something good. Either one of them could get something like crazy going. I think you're right. I don't see it really happening. Tybura didn't have a call out as usual. He's now top 10. It's a hard fight to decide for who he's going to fight next in the heavyweight because the title shot's kind of locked up. The interim title shot's it's looming, but everybody's kind of waiting on Jones at this point because they want the belt. They want the real belt. And there's a bunch of people who have stakes for it.
Did you see Aspinall pull up on John Jones?
They kind of
it was a little awkward.
John didn't want to do the quick face off, but Aspinall respected it. I like that.
I like Aspinall.
I do too. I think it was a great showing by Tybura, number 1. To be just kind of pummeled by Aspinall your last time out, it's easier to take that seeing who Aspinall really is. That's nice.
But it's nice by Tybura. He rebounded Tuivasa had a strong start. He came out firing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the game plan against Tai is like get through the first onslaught. He got through that. He was able to get him to the ground. That's obviously Tai's weakness, and got the nice submission.
11th first-round finish.
It's pretty impressive.
It is. So I wasn't able to get a bunch of names in the heavyweight division, but I got a couple that I think – well, there's 2. They just fought. Jailton Almeida, Curtis Blades. I think Jailton Almeida is probably more in line.
I think that's more in line. Curtis Blades, he's looking for either title shot or fight away from a title shot.
Right, and what we just said, I just don't think he's ready for a title shot because there's a big pecking order in front of him that they all deserve it at this point with their wins and stuff. It's just there's only one title,
yeah.
Right?
Well, there's 2 actually right now.
Yeah, the guy got injured, and then now there's just a waiting list. But I think Jailton Almeida is probably the best choice because it gives somebody in the heavyweight division that can wrestle with Tybura. It'll force Jailton Almeida to strike.
I don't know. He fought a wrestler last time and kept doing it.
Yeah, you're
right.
He
got knocked out. So we'll see. That would be a good matchup, though.
I think that's the best fight to go with.
So let's go to the co-main event now, which it's rare that a co-main event that ends in a no contest might end up being the most entertaining part of the night.
I was going to say the only reason we're talking about the no contest is because as soon as the fight was over...
They tried to really fight.
They actually tried to fight. Bryan Battle had some choice words. We're not going to, repeat because I don't want to have to get blurred or anything.
They pretty much said Lusa was faking it. He could have fought more. And he took the easy way out.
Lusa kind of proved that seeing as, as soon as he was called out for being... cheat or lying about the eye poke or lying about the severity of the eye poke, he started acting like, I'm going to kill you right now. It's like, oh, well, why couldn't you have done that 20 seconds prior?
Yeah, it's unfortunate the fight ends like that, but very entertaining.
Yeah,
as we said, the end of it after the fight. I think the only thing that makes sense is get these 2 guys back in the cage again.
Right, I didn't put anything else other than run it back.
I think the quote from Lusa after the fight was, I'll fucking kill you. The Bryan Battle. So
that's the one allotted PG-13 F-bomb, and there it is. It's gone. But yeah, moving on to the next one. You're right. That is exactly what he said. Ovince St. Preux, OSP versus Kennedy Chekwukwu.
And Kennedy probably
Man, I'm
had,
sorry again. I try my best on that one every single time.
Kennedy probably had the most disappointing performance of the main card.
Plus 600 odds to OSP at closing. Huge upset, split decision win.
I mean, you're fighting a 40-year-old dude, and he couldn't get it done.
But listen, OSP has the most UFC fights at light heavyweight, 25.
He's a vet.
That's crazy. And he forced Chekwukwu to think. The round 1, obviously, I think went to OSP. Round 2, that the dropping with the uppercut, I think, is what gave him the one judge on the scorecard. And like the limited crowd hype, you get the judges that you can kind of hear.
They all had different scores for each round.
They did,
which was crazy.
Yeah. That's what makes me think that the judges are kind of being affected by the commentators in a way. Like, the one shot in the second round, not one shot, but the great shot in the second round from OSP that dropped Kennedy. You got a big reaction from the commentators, from Bisping and Reyes.
But I mean, that's like saying that the crowd could do the same thing to him.
Well, I think that does play a factor, but in this case, the one judge kind of played more of a factor than the other, and it kind of showed on all the scorecards. They were crazy all over the place. I think it was a poorer showing than expected from Chekwukwu because we were expecting a big finish. He was like minus 1,200 odds. It was nuts.
But regardless, OSP, an impressive win. I mean, it was kind of like
tough fight.
Nobody said it,
but
everybody said if he lost this fight, especially like a lot of people thought Chekwukwu was going to come and knock him out. Like maybe you call it quits. You're 40 years old, but no, he proved he still has it. He proved he could still be competitive. Maybe not at the top of the division, but definitely like he can handle himself with a lot of these the younger guys.
You're right. So I got 3 options: Dustin Jacoby. That's just one that it's right there, kind of in the rankings with right in his realm. Azamat Murzakimonov. I'm saying that one poorly as well, but I'm trying. That would give him a good test with the wrestling and everything. Or Ion Cutelaba, the Hulk. He lost to Felipe Lins. OSP beat Felipe Lins last time out. So I think this could be a good rebound fight for Cutelaba to show that is he there for light heavyweight, or like what's going on? Is it he on his way out? Because Cutelaba's also faced some weird adversity. Hadn't been that great in the division as well.
I like all those fights for him. Again, I don't think he's gonna like move his way up the ladder at 40 years old and get it ranked title shot. But
I mean, we got Glover. We got Glover, man. Come on.
But Glover was always in the top 10.
Believe.
But OSP, I mean, he has those are good options. I'm excited to see him fight again. He kind of proved he still has it.
I agree. All right, next up,
another split decision.
Right. That was the Isaac, the Midwest Choppa versus Christian C-Rod Rodriguez.
A rare, each fighter scored a 10-8 round.
Yeah, Isaac Dolgarian was very, very strong in the first. It wasn't even Rodriguez's fault necessarily that he got a 10-8. It was the fact that he was just that dominant. He was just rolling all over him. Every time Christian would move, he was just swooping into another position.
I think Christian Rodriguez, he's not near at the point to get a 5-round fight, but he's like a perfect 5-round fighter. Yeah, he starts very slow, and then he just gets better and better as the fights go on.
He stays super calm through everything. He ended up getting, and I think this is Dolgarian's fault on this end, being that gassed, not being able to like walk. Laying on I'm surprised they didn't stop it in the third round with how many strikes at one point he was taking to the just limp bodied.
Yeah, it could have easily been stopped.
It was good, but that's what me and you said about Christian Rodriguez. He doesn't stop working. I think he needs to change his nickname. That is the third person he took their undefeated record from. He took Cameron Simons, he took Raul Rosas, and he took Isaac Dolgarian.
Those gotta go.
That's a good one.
Street killer?
The street killer, something. I like it. I think that's probably what he needs to do. Keep going for that. Focus on the younger guys right now, because I think you're right. He's not quite ready for a 5-round, but
he's still a young guy.
He's here to stay in the UFC.
I love watching him fight. He's never gives up.
He called out Nathaniel Wood. Not really a call out. He mentioned him in the post-fight interview. He said he thinks it would be interesting because their styles are similar. I agree. At this point, I trust his call-outs because I think he's going to force an interesting fight no matter what he does. He's been the underdog and he's proven that he can do it, time and time again at this point in the UFC. I think That, maybe Andre Touchy-Feely,
A little touchy-feely.
Pat Sabatini. One of those three guys, all similar with what he can do. I think it all gives him, decent options moving forward on fighters that he could contend with.
But yeah, C-Rod just keeps moving up in competition, keeps getting these close wins. Good for him. Let's move on. The only women's fight we're going to cover, we covered. Macy Chiasson with the first round submission of Kianzad.
There you go.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Chiasson, Louisiana native. Impressive win for her. I think we kind of called it coming into this, that she had the superior ground game in this.
Yeah, this was the rematch from 2018 in The Ultimate Fighter. Macy Chiasson went on to win season 28 of the
one that
Ultimate
nobody
Fighter.
watched.
Right. Unfortunate for her. But she won the females division for it. It was a great showing from her. It was really a repeat of the same fight.
Yeah, same thing happened.
Same rear naked choke.
Same women, same result.
I think it's a showing that either Chiasson got better and proved that she's real on the ground and, she actually kind of got it, or it proved that Kianzad hasn't improved at all on the ground and didn't realize that this is the same girl she fought 5 years ago.
I think it's probably easier said than done. Chiasson probably improved, but Chiasson was better before, and she kept improving as well, so... Just overall an impressive performance from Chiasson, though.
Yeah, it was quick. If you want... Chiasson was taking some L's in the UFC. She hasn't had a perfect outing. If you're not going to be perfect, you want finishes like this.
Get a quick finish.
At least stand the reason to fight again soon.
Keep stacking some dubs up.
Right. Get some money behind you. And, maybe put a streak together that puts you in, top 10 fights, top 5 fights, maybe eventually a title shot, if you can get some confidence and momentum behind you.
I agree. Let's move on to the last fight we're going to cover. It was the first fight of the main card, Gerald Meerschaert, another first-round sub, the third one of the main card.
And another one we called.
I mean, this fight, honestly, played out exactly how you thought it would on paper.
Yeah. The guy with 27 submission victories.
Got a submission victory.
Got a quick sub. And I say quick because he did work. But he did efficient work. It was an early second-round submission. It landed him his 28th submission victory, professional.
And that's now 3 out of 4 losses for Barberena by sub.
So I think at
so
this point,
it's a guy whose weakness is that versus the guy who's literally one of the best ever in the UFC at submitting people.
I think at this point, the Bam Bam nickname's kind of cursed. 7 losses.
Yeah, both Bam Bams 0-2 on the card. That's tough.
Yikes.
One to open, one to close the main card.
But yeah, like you said, this was... difference of styles, grapple versus striker.
And it played out exactly how, you could have...
Exactly. But
how it was on paper, it played out like that.
True G style from Bam Bam Barberena. He refused to tap. He decided to go unconscious instead. So, props to him. I would never do that. I would as soon as you, get under my chin, I'd panic and just, flail tap. So, shout out to him going out. But also big shout out to GM3, Gerald Meerschaert.
Keep going at it.
28 sub victories.